And actually, it's a real good way to deal with the problem. You know, if there's a problem or an issue, you know, and it's always easier to deal with the issue when it's somewhere else besides right in your face.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So I can see as a coach, that would be a great avenue, a tool to use, you know, to help people see their issue when they're watching someone else.
Yeah, kind of like going to therapy and saying, you know, I have a friend who has a problem, rather than, you know, admitting that we have it. But ironically, you watch a film and you can really relate to a lot of the characters, so it gives us a chance to sort of step out of ourselves and view it from a third perspective, which is nice. Yeah.
So do you see that Steven Simon's going to be just coming out like Steven Spielberg probably? He'll have his own venue of famous movies.
Well, you know, he's done some great work in the past. I think he's already pretty established as far as his reputation, but I think that, you know, this is sort of a left turn for him. Instead of following the traditional path, he's sort of breaking his own path with doing the spiritual cinema. And I know that Indigo was a movie that was very little budget, that they had a lot of people who volunteered and came forward who, you know, did it out of the kindness of their heart. It was not a money-driven project, and I think that Steven's very much one of these people who has, you know, used his influence in some ways that are very blessed, and not just, you know, using his reputation for financial gain. He's someone who is doing it for the greater good and for people that are involved, so that's really refreshing.
Now, and he has his own website, obviously, and so that all of this information that we're talking about tonight can be on the website, and people can go there and see what Steven Simon is really up to, besides listening to us. But or come to the monthly meeting, which would be the first Monday. Did you
First
say?
Saturday.
First Saturday.
Yeah.
First Saturday of the month, and that's and we'll show films, and that'll be pretty exciting.
Yeah.
So there are new ones every month, correct?
Right. They send us 3 to 5 films each month on a DVD, and then we can pick and choose what we want to watch. So there's lots to choose from, and then we can also look in his book and choose. So I usually will take a poll from the people who show up that night as to what they like to see next, so that we're always hitting our mark and it's coming from the group.
So let's just talk about your passion for a moment, since that's what this whole series is about, is how does this passion create your livelihood?
Well, you know, it all started with, I went through a major disability and a surgery and found myself wondering what I was going to be when I grow up again. And I was receiving newsletters from Cheryl Richardson, who's a life coach, and began to look at her book called Take Time for Your Life. And then I noticed that she sent an email out about her family getting together and, her family getting together and watching movies once a year at Christmas time, and they would review these movies, and I thought, what a great idea. And so I then found Steven's book, and so I emailed Steven Simon and said, you know, can I have permission to use your book to base, you know, a movie group on, like you would a book club or whatever, and told him my story, which I didn't really know that I was. I just kind of emailed, you know, what I felt in my heart, and he wrote back and said, can I publish your story? And I said, and I thought to myself, what story? You know, and so then I had to pull up my email that I had sent him, and I thought, well, of course he's going to see it as a story because he's a movie producer, and everybody submits stories to him. And so I read it as a story, and I said, well, of course, if you think that my story would, you know, do something for someone else, then by all means, publish it. And that was the beginning of my coaching business, was he published it on his website, and as a result of that, I was sent about 22 emails in one day and thought I got on some spam list. And when I started opening them, of course, it was all these people that had responded to my story and how thankful they were that I shared it. And it was just wonderful because they were asking me to coach them. And so that was kind of the birth of my coaching business alongside of my Soulful Cinema group. So it's been just a total blessing, and it's really grown for, a year and a half, and I'm just really feel like one of the luckiest people to be involved in this project. So it's been fun.
Well, and I'm sure Stephen just loves you.
We email back and forth, and sometimes I'm not sure. He calls me one of his friendliest critics. Because I give him my honest feedback, and of course we do have admiration for each other, and we jokingly rib each other about being critics, but that's what keeps our work fine-tuned, I think. So.
Well, and he certainly has so much passion. It's for him to model it for you, and then you to model it for the next group that you've got coming in.
Right.
And me, I'm so excited that we have this genealogy going and being able to create it in our own community. And I'm encouraging everyone out there tonight to look at this website, find this book, and do the next step. Put your words and your thoughts into action, and do something that's meaningful, for you and your family, especially, the opportunity to bring your family together and see something that's really powerful. The spiritual cinema movies, I think, we're just at the very beginning right now, and it's just going to explode.
Well, and to not only get the book, but you can actually go and get online and order the DVDs, which I believe are around $25 a month, and you get 3 to 5 films, and these are films you wouldn't be exposed to otherwise. So they're great, things that you can watch and start discussions.
So something new. Here we are, starting a passion and seeing it grow, putting the seed down and letting it blossom, and that's what Spirit at Work is all about. And so thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you, Paula, for joining me. And I really encourage everyone to go out and find a great movie, and especially sit down with your family and your friends and talk about it, what it means to you. So thank you for joining us tonight, and Spirit at Work. Namaste.